Hello and welcome to this word of the day. As you see here, the new word that we have for you is the word punitive. And if you notice here, it is mentioned, it is used in formal writing in the sense that quite frequently used in writing in formal conversation and is a legal term. It is often used in law and it means intended as a punishment. So when you see the word punitive, acting like an adjective, and many a time you must have heard of punitive actions, right? So if you have punitive actions, then those actions are intended as punishment. Or you might have heard of punitive measures in the sense that the measures are such that they intend to punish someone. So punitive action, punitive measures, and the two sentences demonstrate that. So it says here the UN has imposed punitive sanctions on the invading country. So the UN has imposed sanctions definitely, but what kind of sanctions? Punitive sanctions, which basically means sanctions intended as punishment. And if you go to the next one, it says she's suing the newspaper for $5 million punitive damages which are basically a kind of punishment, claiming they knew the article about her was untrue. So whenever you see the word punitive, it basically means intended as a punishment. And we often hear of sentences like in India, we do not have very strong punitive measures for petty crimes. That means if someone commits petty crimes, then the punitive action are not very severe, or there is no punitive action. That means actions intended as punishment, right? So punitive action, punitive measure, right? And punitive, something which is punitive is intended as punishment, right? So it has that word root, puny. Puny basically is coming from the word punishment. So if you have difficulty understanding the word, remembering it, you must understand that if you break this word into two parts, you have the first part which is puny and the second part is still. So this puny basically becomes punishment, right? So this is how you must try to remember the word acting as punishment, and it is used often as an adjective. So whenever you have the word punitive, you will put some kind of noun after that. So punitive, in this case, action. In some case you might have measures. In some case you might have punitive, as you see here, punitive sanctions, right? Or you might have punitive damages. So anything that is acting as a kind of punishment or intended as a kind of punishment, then you can put the word punitive beside that, before that now, right? Let's go and take some of the synonyms of the word punitive. As you see here, we have taken a good number of synonyms for the word punitive. And the first one that you see here is disciplinary, concerned with punishing, concerned with retaliatory. May not be the exact synonym, but penal. So again, the word, so penal and the word penalty. Penalty basically means serving as punishment. And then you have the word penal, so Indian Penal Code. So penal basically means a kind of penalty or fine or punishment. So penal, penalty, punitive, they all are basically similar in the sense that they all refer to some kind of punishment. And then if you have some of the remote synonyms of the word, you have the word revengeful, retaliative. To retaliate basically means to answer back, seeking vengeance. So many a time, some people remain quiet to all the injustices, but then they retaliate. So to retaliate basically means to answer back. To answer back in the same way, particularly intended to, again, intended as punishment. So that is retaliatory. Vindictive. So vindictive again means the same thing, to answer back in some kind of vengeance. So vindictive basically means the one who is bent on taking revenge. So when you are bent on taking revenge, you become vindictive. And then you have in reprisal. So reprisal also is a very good word. So reprisal basically means that you are taking some kind of very strong revenge on someone for something. So that is known as reprisal. So retaliatory, reprisal are very synonymous. And you have the word castigating. Castigating basically means punishing or punishment. It's very close to the word punitive, right? So these are some of the synonyms of the word punitive. We can have a look at some of the antonyms as well. So as you see here, not many antonyms, because punitive basically means acting like a punishment or meant as a punishment, and then the opposite becomes beneficial, rewarding. So you can say rewarding actions, or you can say punitive actions. So when the actions are punitive, that means they are acting as a kind of punishment for something. And when the actions are rewarding, that means basically they are acting as a kind of beneficial thing for someone, right? So punitive, you have the opposite, which is rewarding or beneficial, right? So this is how we use the word. It is difficult to remember, but to understand, punitive is always used in terms of as something which is intended as punishment. So this is the word of the day, and if you have liked the video, please do share and subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon to receive the updates. Thank you.